We just had a tough 2 week road span, and we got to put it in perspective. We didn't play well either of these last two games. Played against two pretty good defenses. I was proud of a lot of our effort on defense again this week. We were a little bit undermanned again, and playing with some guys that have some injuries, playing with some backups. And we got to build on the effort that we're getting from those kids. Offensively, I'm just going to take the bullet on that whole thing. We can play better offensively. We have to play with more continuity and more chemistry, and we will. I'm very, very confident that we will. Carson did some really good things in the game. Romeo played extremely hard. We're not playing very well up front, and that's where it all starts. And we got to do better with our communication, and we'll get that squared away. I'm very confident that we will. We're excited this week. We play New Mexico. We get a chance to come back home, get some home cooking after being gone for a couple of weeks. Offensively, they're a very balanced team. They like to run the football. They've had two quarterbacks, but now they've settled on one. One's been suspended. And he's a transfer kid. He's very athletic. He's very capable of throwing the ball. So we're going to have to do a great job on him. Defensively, they've been better, much better against the run than they have the pass. They play odd, they play over, they play under, combination fronts, big physical kids up front. They've got an excellent linebacker in Jacoby Hearn and a safety, Jarek Reed, who are good football players. Overall, where we're at, we're excited to be coming back home. This is the 9th game of the season, and our whole goal as a football team is to improve and get better. And that's one thing that I was disappointed about the last 2 weeks is that we need to show improvement. We need to show that we're getting better in areas that were weaknesses. We were much better in the penalty department last week. We were much better on third down. We were 50% on third down. And so we have to grow with that, protect the football, and play to our strengths. If you look at the last 2 years, our first year, we finished strong in the last 4 games. Last year, we were 4-4 at this time last year. And we finished up the last 3 games, we were 3-1. And I don't know what our record is, and I don't have a crystal ball as far as what it's going to be, but I know we need to improve. And that's what we're going back to do as coaches. It's our job to put them in a good spot, a good situation, and it's our kids' job to do what we ask them to do as coaches. And as long as we do that, we have a chance. We've got a bunch of really good seniors that are playing their last 4 games in the regular season. It'd be the second to last time they're in Mackey, and we want them to go out on a high note. So a lot of great things to look forward to. We had an excellent practice this morning, and we're excited about preparing the rest of the week for New Mexico.
You said at this point 4-4, just like last year. How similar or different does this 4-4 feel versus last year?
Yeah, we got some kids beat up. We got some injuries, and that's never an excuse, but it's the reality of what we have. We had a little bit more experience in some positions last year than we have this year. And so we've had to go through the growing pains and the lack of confidence of playing on the road. But we've got to continue to press and build on what they've learned and try to minimize some of our weaknesses. And that's what we got to do now. We just got to play with some tempo and urgency, protect the football, and attack our snaps confidently. I think that's the biggest thing. And so, we got a plan on how to do that. We got a really good plan how to attack this team, and so we're excited to get a chance to compete again.
When you look at the offensive struggles, you said you would take the whole bullet on the thing. What is the biggest thing holding you guys back from being a better offensive team?
I just think we've got to get it across to our kids to get what we want out of them, and and for one reason or another that hasn't gotten done. I have some pretty good ideas on how that needs to happen, and so we're just going to do it that way. And football's not complicated. We put a plan together for the players, and the players' job is to do what we ask them to do and do it as hard as they can. And we haven't been getting that, the last few weeks. And so we need continuity, we need tempo, and we need execution. And so, we're just going to have to go about getting that from them. And so it's my job to make sure that all happens on both sides of the ball. And so we'll just attack it maybe in a little different way, but with the same end in mind.
Have you gone through, you've been an offensive coach most of your career. Is it more frustrating because you do spend a lot of time there?
It's frustrating to watch us play the way we've played the last couple of weeks, because I know we're capable of playing much better, and we have some good playmakers. We're not playing very good up front right now, and we have to be realistic, and we have to do what our offensive line can do. And so that's where it starts. And then Carson has to come play suit with that, and he has to complement the things that we can do up front. And then the backs got to do their job, and the receivers got to step up and do their job. So there's no magic to it. There really isn't. It's just making everybody work together and having continuity. And we need a sense of urgency. We got to go. It's a critical time of year. This is the time where the cream starts rising to the top, and the better teams improve. And we take a lot of pride in improving as the season goes along. And I'm disappointed that we hadn't shown that the last 2 weeks. So we've got to get in the right lane and make sure that we're doing things the right way.
Before the season started, you said this is the most talented quarterback room you had. That position has not played very well. How much of the offensive struggles are on how the quarterback position is played versus the surrounding cast?
I think that that position, we've had some inconsistencies in playing different guys. I think that's settling down now. It's a combination of our offensive line play and our quarterback position. Part of the problem is with young players, you have to play within a time clock and get the ball gone. And at times we hadn't done that very good at quarterback, and the weaknesses we've had up front have really shown. So it's a combination of the two positions. I think Carson will continue to improve every week that he plays. He did a lot of good things in this game, a lot of things we can build on. And so, we'll continue to improve at that position. And, the big thing that I want Carson to feel patient and be able to play with poise and do that consistently. And, he's been a little anxious at times. He's gotten under pressure at times and hasn't played that way. And so, we got to get him into a place where he's confident and he's comfortable and he's checking the ball down. And so, we've got 4 games left to show improvement in that area.
Jumped out to a quick start against San Jose State, eventually translated to win. Just how important is it to get out to a quick start on offense?
It's important, and the reason that we haven't done that it's all self-inflicted, and that's the part that's frustrating for me, because there are mistakes that should not be made. And so that's something that's got to get corrected, and I got to correct it and make sure that we're playing with more consistency and more efficiency. And so, we'll make some adjustments in that regard and make sure we get off to a good start. But it is important that we get off to a good start because, it's important for our confidence, for our units. And the defense is hanging in there. We got to put points on the board to get them to continue to believe that we're going to be able to get over the hump. And so, it's the 8th game of the season. The other thing we're looking at is, we have a rule that allows our freshmen to play 4 games. We're going to really look hard at some of our younger kids that can help us, especially on special teams with all the injuries that we have. We can certainly use a couple of kids in some key positions, covering kicks, maybe in the secondary. we have some awfully good young players that haven't played to this point that we can play a little bit and give them some experience here at the end of the year.
Coach, you've mentioned focus and accountability offensively with those struggles. Is that something you can iron out in a week of practice, or is it just multiple repetitions over a long period of time?
No, it's just accountability, and it's making sure that we're getting what we want as coaches. And we have a lot of moving pieces in there and a lot of young players, and some of those kids are struggling a little bit, and they're not playing as well as we'd like them to. And we've got to keep coaching them. That's our job. And we got to do things that they can do well, that they know how to do. And if that means simplifying some things, then we have to do that. And we got to lean on our good players. I mean, that's really important right now. When you're not playing at a high level, obviously your good players got to step up and do what they do best. But we've got to do a good job as coaches of making sure they understand exactly what we want out of them, and then make sure we get it. It's really that simple. And, we haven't done a good job of that the last couple of weeks, and we need to do better.
I believe there are 3 games this season where you guys haven't scored a touchdown. Is play calling an issue, or kind of how do you attribute?
I just think it's offensive execution. I really do. I don't think there's any magic to it. And it's a combination of us as coaches making exactly what we want clear and then getting the players to do it. And so I think it's more of that than anything. And so we'll really look at what we've done and how we're doing it, and then we'll really dial in to make sure that we get what we want, especially in our situational football.
I think in the 4 losses too, you guys have been outscored 198-22. Is there kind of a reason for those big blowout losses? You guys kind of maybe lose focus later on in the game?
Well, I think it's a lack of confidence, especially offensively, and whether it's youth or inexperience, whatever you want to call it, it's a lack of confidence in execution, and we have to do a better job. We have to do a better job versus better defensive teams. That's a simple fact, and we've been overwhelmed somewhat by better defenses, and so we have to play more confidently to execute and score against the better defenses that we're going to see. So, the teams that we have beaten have probably not been as good defensively, and so we have to step up and obviously be more productive. We need to be scoring in the 30s in all these games to really give ourselves a chance, and so we're working to get that mix to get that done.
You mentioned Carson's progression as well. Is he kind of the QB1 the rest of the way?
I mean, he's our quarterback, and we're going to continue to improve him and get him better. And and Christian has a place in our offense. I think we can use him in certain situations, and he's certainly ready to step up if Carson's not ready to play. And so, Carson's our guy, and we'll continue to get him better and improve him and keep teaching him, the style of football we want to play.
Turnovers also have been an issue. I mean, you guys have had multiple turnovers every game except for the first one. What would you say is the biggest cause of the giving away?
I mean, execution. I mean, Carson had an ill-advised throw where he scrambled to his right and tried to throw back to his left, and that's just discipline by him. And then we had a fumble with Fossum with one of our better players, and he's had a couple of those at wide receiver this year, and guys catch the ball and they try to make plays. We work on ball security, and that's just something that he's got to do a better job with. But we're certainly capable of taking care of the ball, and that comes back to execution as well, and getting the ball in your better players' hands. And so, we have to really do a good job of planning that and making sure that our better players are getting their hands on the ball, and then Carson's got to be more disciplined when he breaks in the pocket.
Where would you say the confidence of the team is at right now?
I think, last year we were in a very similar situation. We lost to Fresno and we lost to Boise. And I think our guys know they're capable of playing well. I know we had high expectations coming into this year. And we haven't lived up to some of those because we have some guys that aren't playing as well as they're capable of. And we have to get that out of them as coaches. But we're certainly in a good position to finish this year strong and have a great finish. And so that's where our mindset and our focus is. Our older players are conveying that to our younger players. Our younger players are getting more of an opportunity at this time of year. So I think there's a lot of incentive to really step up our game and play well.
Any update on Caleb Meter after his dislocated elbow?
He's got a dislocated elbow. He's getting an MRI today. And so, that's a tough injury. Another senior who's coming down the last few games of his career. And, it's just hard. It's hard to see a kid lose an opportunity to play his last few games. But hopefully, we get to a bowl game and we can play late. He has a chance to come back.
Didn't see Malik at practice. Is his status the same? Is he kind of ruled
He's
out?
still trying to get caught up. Yep. Until, I'm going to meet with him later today and get updated on his status, and we'll just continue to help him get back on his feet.
Daniel Brown, coach.
Daniel still hasn't been cleared. We hope that he'll be back to practice tomorrow, but as of yet, he's still not cleared.
You look at New Mexico's run game. How unique or different is it, and how difficult is it to prepare for?
I mean, they do a good job of keeping you balanced, and run defense is all about gap responsibility and backers fitting. And a couple of our big runs, our backers didn't fit very well last week. We had them backed up before halftime, and we let them get out. We had them in a couple long yardage situations, and we let them get out. But they do a good job, and they're committed to running the ball. And so that's something that you're going to have to stop. They got a big physical offensive line. Their quarterback is involved in their running game, so that always makes it an assignment issue defensively. So, it's going to be a big challenge for us. We need to play well up front. Obviously we lost Meter, so we got another guy down. But we got to really step up and play physical this week and control the run game. That's going to be key.
How critical is the win against New Mexico this week? Because obviously a loss would make you guys have to run the table in order to make a bowl game or so.
No, it's important. We're coming back home after being on the road and having 2 losses. It's always important to bounce back and play well. And so, it's a big game for us. It's a game we want to come home and win. And get on a roll here at the end of the year. It's important for us as well, to bounce back and get our confidence going. And so, that'll be important for us as well. So we're excited about it. We're excited about the opportunity, to play well and to improve these next few weeks. And we get a chance to play some important games. We're going to be playing some of the better teams in our league, in our division. And, we're anxious to get a chance to play them, and this is an important game. This is our second to last game at home, and so we want to play well and win on our home turf.
Coach, I'm not sure how many NFL games you watch, but have you been kind of looking at what Malik Reed has done? You became the starter a few weeks ago, and what's impressed you about what he's been able to do?
No, I haven't been able to see Malik, and I haven't really seen much NFL football. I saw a few of the Packers plays last night, but no, we're so happy and proud for Malik. And when you talk about, being accountable and working hard and taking care of your business, Malik was at the top of that list. And so what a great example of how you go about your business. And, and that's a great example for us to be looking at right now as a team. Because Malik was a guy you never had to, chase around to get to do anything. He was always staying after practice to get extra work, and he was accountable for his own play. And so, we've been pressing for our young guys to understand that, pressing for our overall team to reflect that type of work ethic. And so we'll just keep pressing. And I'm really happy for Malik and hope he finishes strong this year.
What are some of the things the offensive line does well, in your mind, moving forward?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just consistency. We have to do a better job of communicating and protecting our quarterback on third down. That's a big plus. We're still not always as clean with our communication at the center position, and that's experience. We have to use the proper techniques in the run game and really play with great pad level and run our feet. And we've got good backs, and we need to be more consistent in our running game. We didn't run the ball very well this last game, and we got beat on the edge a couple times at tight end as well. And so, we got to tie our kids down, try not to do too much, and really give them some tools so they can be successful. And so, part of that's our structure. Part of that's limiting our package and mixing up some things to give them a real advantage. So we'll try to simplify some of that to help them.
Is the offensive line going to be an emphasis this offseason?
It always is. Losing Jake didn't help us, but really the rest of those guys will all be back and more experienced and bigger and stronger, and that's exciting. And we'll continue to add more bodies to that line. The young kids that we've recruited are bigger and stronger than we've ever had, and so that's exciting. But that's a group that has to be matured over time, and we just have not been clean. And haven't played with great continuity. I think that's been the thing that's hurt us the most. And so, we'll keep pressing for that. The season's not over with yet, and we want to continue to get better, and that's an area I think we can improve on.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Obviously, you guys lost a couple games pretty lopsided. It's kind of one of the leaders of the team and a pretty upbeat guy. How do you keep the guys positive, for what the possibilities are for the rest of the season?
Oh, man. I think I always try to go back to the bowl game, remind guys of the bowl game, because that game did not go well for us until, the very end of the fourth quarter, if that. I always remind guys that on the sideline, hey, remember the bowl game? We came back from that, right? So, I remember being 3-9 my first year, right? And everything has changed for the better since then. And we talk a lot right now. We just talked today how this time last year we were 4-4, and we're 4-4 this year. And look what happened last year, right? We still have the opportunity to have a better year than last year. Still, if we win out the next 4, go to an awesome bowl game. Mountain West Championship isn't out of reach. We played 2 teams in our side, and we're 1-1 against them. So we've got a lot in front of us. And there's no reason to not be positive. We're playing college football. Coach Norvell said this after the game in Laramie. He goes, we're college football players in America. We're some of the luckiest guys in the world, right? Let's have fun with it. Why not, right? So many people would rather be in our position. We have these inspirational pictures, in our lockers of something that inspires us, and mine's always been my JUCO team, because I know all 90 of them, a couple of them are playing D1, but not all of them playing anymore at all. And I know a lot of them would love to be in our spots. That's what inspires me. It's what keeps me happy. It's what keeps me going. Yeah, I just try to push that kind of message that no matter what, we're lucky, should have fun.
Is it hard to keep that in perspective for some of the guys as they go through, struggles and some lopsided losses?
Yeah, I think so. Not everyone handles every situation as well as others. I think I do a pretty good job staying positive and finding out how to get other guys to look at that perspective. You have to treat everyone differently, but I think all I can do is just try to keep a smile on my face and just keep living for the next play and just doing my best and everything I can, and hope that, one guy, and that being me, just trying to be positive whenever I can, rubs off on enough people, and then it, spreads, kind of like those do good deed commercials. See one person do it, hopefully other people do it, type deal.
And how does this year's 4-4 feel similar or different to last year's 4-4?
I think it feels better in the way that, like, I think we have a win over a Power 5 in both years. I think this wins over the Power 5 being in Purdue feels better than the win over Oregon State last year. I don't know, maybe because of the fashion it was in. Maybe they had a unanimous All-American on their team, a bit of returning quarterback with a lot of experience. So I think that feels like that's like a different feeling looking at that win. And like obviously at the point differential everyone sees, like some of these losses have been lopsided, and that might be one of the harder things to stay positive about, I would say. But we have a road win at UTEP. We have the big win at home. It really feels similar, I guess. I think so. I think if anything, I look at that Power 5 win, it feels really good to get that second one in a row. Yeah.
I feel like you guys have been chasing that form since playing that game because, go out and beat Purdue when they were healthy and, they had beaten 3 top 25 schools the year before, and it just seems like you haven't gotten really to that level when you've played the better teams on the schedule.
I certainly haven't. That was my best game. I'll tell you that first. I've been trying to chase that form, but I think we've had a lot of really good performances since then. It's a team sport, obviously, but Burdell Robbins has made some awesome plays, had some amazing games. I just think about guys like DB that are always at their top of their game. Romeo Dubs had some big games these past couple weeks. Toa had his big game of the year since then. So I think, a lot of guys have stepped up and Chris had his awesome game against UTEP. Carson played, Malik played really well against San Jose State. Carson, threw for 250? This past game? I don't know. People have had a lot of really good games, and I think it's really easy to look at the negative side of things. They teach that in business school. Negative things stand out more. I think we've had a lot of positive things that maybe have been overshadowed, and I think you got to focus on those things because, we've lost some big games, but we've had some really awesome things as well. So try to focus on those.
What have been your thoughts on Brandon Talton and the kind of season he's had, being a midseason All-American from a couple publications, going from somebody who nobody really knew entering the Purdue game? Right.
I think it's funny when people really have no idea what's going on, right? And then people I saw your tweet after the game, correction, that was Brandon Talton. I have no idea who that is or whatever. I think those moments are kind of funny. I think he's doing awesome. I think he's a really good kid. I think he has amazing parents. So it's no surprise that he's a good kid. I think what people don't really understand, his first field goal ever, the Foss had to run on super late. That's great. He's just been nails since then. I think it shows a lot of his character, just how well he's playing. I think you do well off the field. You do well on the field. There's a connection there, and I think there's that. Spencer Pettit, I feel like a lot of people might easily forget about him, but he's helped, I think, Brandon a lot. He's like a mentor. Spencer's an amazing teammate. You can ask coach. You can ask any coach. You can ask any player. He's always had a positive attitude about everything. And I think having a guy like Spencer there to help Brandon, they have all these little side conversations about different situations and stuff like that. And Spencer's never lost a beat. So I think Brandon's surrounded by a lot of good people, but he himself is a good person. So no surprise. No surprise.
You've had an interesting career to this point. I have about a month left in your career in college. I guess, is that finality of this kind of being the end hit you and the seniors as you guys go into kind of this last month?
Yeah, it's kind of hit me. It's I've been thinking about that ever since the bowl game. It's geez, one more ride. It's really sad. A lot of question marks in my future. I'm really just trying to live in the present and not think about what it's going to be like a month and a half from now when I don't have to set my alarm early in the morning every morning and figure out what I'm going to do with all my day and stuff. It's tough. Really want to go out and win these last 4, get to an awesome bowl game, win 5, maybe 6 Mountain West Championship. Just trying to do the best I can, every play I can get out there.
What kind of changed for you guys last year to go from 4-4 to get up to 8 wins? And what do you guys need to do to kind of channel how you guys have closed the season the last 2 years?
I think we just stayed the course. Coach Norvell kind of said that at the end of practice day, hey, last year we lost 2 games to Boise and Fresno in a row last year, and they might not have been giant point spreads, but they were kind of they were tough losses. Like, we almost beat Boise. Like, we were that close, really. And Fresno, just things weren't falling our way. So those were 2 tough losses. But you really just got to stay the course. That's what we're planning on doing. Just row the boat, is what's his name would say. Just keep pushing. You know, I don't like, and we didn't give up. I don't think this team's going to give up. There's no give up in us. We're a really good group of guys, I would say, really high quality character dudes on the team. So we'll just keep pushing. Yeah.
Anything else for Q? All right, thank you. Questions for Carson?
What would you say your assessment of the offense is so far this season?
So far this season, I'd say the offense's main concern is just being inconsistent. We've had some games where we've put up 30 points, some games where we haven't even scored a touchdown. So it's really about just finding our rhythm and getting back to what we were doing when we were scoring points and scoring touchdowns, and we really need to capitalize in the red zone.
What would you say the inconsistency kind of stems from?
Honestly, it starts with me at the quarterback. I've got to, make the right calls, get the players where they need to be in the right time, the right spots, and I need to deliver, honestly. I haven't letting the team down. I haven't been doing what I need to do in my part, and I've been really holding us back, especially on offense.
Where do you feel like you need to improve the most?
The red zone. Once we get inside the red zone, we need to be able to score, because we were moving the ball pretty well on Saturday, but as soon as we got in the red zone, everything just started to stall out, and so we really need to score and once we get in there.
What would you say the confidence of the offensive group is right now? I mean, do you guys need another big scoring game like you had against San Jose State or UTEP or Purdue to kind of have that confidence that you guys can go out there and do some good things on the field?
Yeah, that's what we need to do this Saturday. We're just focused on New Mexico, just trying to get what we want to do on the script and just go execute it on Saturday.
Carson, how much of an emphasis is being placed on just starting fast on offense this upcoming game?
We just want to get in our rhythm from the jump, just, execute the plays that are called and just move the ball, especially because we've been putting our defense in bad spots with field position. I know Wyoming got the ball on the 50-yard line quite a lot, and so that's hard for our defense, when they're getting the ball that close.
How could that help you starting up instead of having to chase from behind the rest of the way?
Yeah, that could definitely help because field position is a major part of the game. If we can flip the field and make them start from their own goal line, it helps us a lot if we can get the ball, closer to their end, and it helps our defense especially.
How do you guys execute better in the red zone? You mentioned moving the football the rest of the field. What is the biggest difference in getting in that 20-yard distance?
We just need to be physical and execute our plays. We just need to be able to punch it in there and make them respect the run so we can beat them one-on-one in the pass game. It's when they're dropping out into zone on the goal line, we need to be able to punch the ball in there.
Is it more of a mental difference as opposed to maybe a physical one or anything that you need to tweak in terms of like offensive play calling or anything like that?
Yeah, it's really just all about us executing. When one person makes a mistake on offense, it can kind of destroy the whole play, and it seems like a lot of us were taking turns to mess up. I know there's a lot of youth in the line, and we're playing young receivers, and I've made a lot of bad mistakes as well. So we all just need to do our job and just execute one play at a time.
You mentioned everyone having kind of career games, but in different games. How do you guys make it so that everyone is kind of one cohesive unit and playing their best week after week?
We just need to focus on our job. Just focus on your job and nothing else.
How rusty did you feel last week? How sharp or how not sharp were you?
I wouldn't say I felt rusty. I felt pretty good during the game. I felt like I was seeing the field well. I felt confident. In the beginning of the game, first quarter, I felt like I had some jitters. I wasn't making the throws I needed to. I wasn't stepping in my throws with confidence, but I felt like as the game went on, I felt pretty good. Just struggled to get the ball in the end zone.
Did it kind of feel like your first game again, or
No.
carryover?
No, I didn't feel like the first game, no.
You look at New Mexico's defense, what are the challenges they possess and the difficulties of their strengths?
Well, they run a lot of zone coverage cover 6, cover 2, 2 high safeties a majority of the time. They have this player, we're calling him the star player. So he's like coming down. He's trying to help with the run, play the pass. He's playing that whole spot in that cover 2. So we really just need to execute our offense, be physical in the run game, and make them pay in the pass.
When you do look at the higher scoring games, the run game has been good, and in the lower scoring games, you guys have struggled to run the ball. I guess how much does it help when you guys are able to get the run game going from the quarterback's perspective?
It just makes the defense, respect the run, and it just makes the throwing, passing lanes just a little bit bigger in the pass game. And touches for Toa, that's always good. Get Toa as many touches, Tay, Keldon when he comes healthy, so we got really good backs, and we just need to give them the ball.
A lot of guys have come up here and said, 4-4 last year at this point, 4-4 this year at this point. What makes you optimistic that you guys can finish this season like you did last year?
Well, we have all the confidence in the world that we can run the table. So that's all we're focused on is one game at a time. We're looking to beat New Mexico this week, and whoever we're playing, we just need to focus on winning that game. And by the end of the season, when we look back, we want to say that, we never lost confidence in ourselves and that we finished it out strong.
Coach Norvell mentioned that it's really tough to win games when the defense is on the field as much as it is. Is there anything changing offensively at practice where you guys maybe could stay on the field longer or kind of move the ball a little bit better?
To move the ball better, we really just need to make yards on every play. We have a lot of issues on having too many 3rd and longs because we're not making yards on 1st and 2nd down. It's really hard to convert 3rd and longs, so we really just need to focus on making yards on 1st down, making yards on 2nd down. We executed on 3rd down pretty well against Wyoming, and that's because we had 3rd and manageable situations. We weren't stuck in 3rd and long too much. That's why we were able to move the ball, but we just need to keep doing that, and once we get in the red zone, we need to finish.
Yourself in those 3rd and longs, is that a play calling issue? Is it just executing better on 1st and 2nd down?
It's definitely not a play calling issue. It's definitely the players making mistakes, and that's what causes 3rd and longs because we're making mistakes on 1st down, 2nd down, and now we're stuck in a hard situation. So we really just need to focus on executing the plays that are called. The play calling is great. He's calling the right plays that we need to. Coach Rummy is a great coach, and I'll always stand up for him. And he's calling the right plays. We need to execute them.
How tough was the 2 weeks when you didn't play for you to, watch on the sideline and, wonder if you were going to play again this year?
Yeah, I just had to stay ready knowing that I'm going to be able to see the field again. I knew my career wasn't over, so I just needed to focus on the mistakes that I made, learn from them, and just try to get better. I still obviously made a lot of mistakes on Saturday, and I just need to keep learning from them and growing and move on.
Seems like Romeo's really stepped up the last couple of games. Why do you think he has played a little bit better, and how important is that for your guys' offense? Because he seems to be, maybe the number one big play guy among your receivers.
Romeo is a great wide receiver, and we never lost confidence in him. At the beginning of the year, he got that concussion against Oregon, kind of sent him back, but we never lost confidence in him, and we knew that he was going to break out eventually. And he's just a great athlete, and we're excited to have him.